So you're telling me and that's another issue. The teenagers are not confident in talking to their parents about having sex. That's another problem, because the teenagers feel they're doing something wrong. So they're not going to come to their parents about it because they know their parents will, look down on them and stone them and what have you about trying to have sex. But if they had a relationship with their parents, they would understand that their parents understand what they're going through, and they will guide them through that process. But since teenagers and parents don't have a good relationship, the teenager decides to talk to their counselors at their schools about having sex. Next thing you know, it's been so many of them that they decided, well, we're just going to give them condoms at schools. They want to have sex. They're not adults, but, the reality is they will have sex, so we're going to give them condoms to protect themselves. Now, at face value, to a lot of people, surprisingly, to a lot of people, this is a good idea. Some people believe this is a good idea, to give them condoms. I mean, it stops a lot of pregnancies in schools. But let's just be honest here. Do you honestly think that'll stop teenage pregnancies? No, because I'm just gonna be honest here. A lot of guys don't like wearing condoms, right? This is just the truth. A lot of guys, and I'm talking about adult males. Adult males don't like wearing condoms, and the teenage males they're even more highly sexual, so they damn sure don't want to wear condoms. So, is that really stopping the problem? No, it's not. So, what it is, the parents, and you would say, well, what are you saying? Don't try anything? The problem is, you're not even supposed to have the schools talking about sexual education with these students. The parents are supposed to do that. That's a parental thing. The school is not supposed to talk to the students about sexual education. That's something they learn from their parents or whatever legal guardian they have, older brother, older sister, whoever's watching over them. They are supposed to talk to the students, the teenagers, not the school. And with that being said, you can say that the schools actually condone teenage sex. This is why they're giving them condoms. Now let me look at another point. One way to make that stigma disappear is to create as many opportunities as possible to communicate to young people that condoms are a normal, everyday part of sex and nothing to feel weird or ashamed about. Once again, we're talking about teenagers. This is not adults. These are teenagers. Why are you, Adam, you're going so hard on educating them about condoms and having sex? Let me read that again. One way to make the stigma disappear is to create as many opportunities as possible to communicate to young people that condoms are a normal, everyday part of sex and nothing to feel weird or ashamed about. Well, you know what? They should feel weird and ashamed that the school is offering them condoms. They should feel weird then. But since most teenagers, this is nothing new. Most teenagers, one of the goals to be popular and to be cool is to lose your virginity in high school. So perhaps they don't see it as being weird. Hiding condoms or making students ask a nurse for them like they're some kind of specialized medical device does the opposite, creating stigma. No, it doesn't. Having condoms in big bowls or in free vending machines everywhere helps establish that sliding one on is normal, and it is not a personal judgment on you or your health status to insist on wearing one. As with most things, frequent exposure to condoms will make them feel familiar and normal. Instead of weird things you have to go out of your way to possess. Well, they should go out of their way to possess it because they're teenagers. These are not adults. So you should fight and struggle to get a condom because you're a teenager. You're not even supposed to be having sex. But due to the society, they believe that teenagers should have sex. But see, that is a hypocritical society, right? Because if you ask everyone, if they do a survey of Americans and say, do you think teenagers should have sex? I would say 75 to 80% of them would say no, right? But then in general speaking and just talking, they would say, well, teenagers are going to have sex anyway, so, we should just give them condoms. You can't have it halfway. Either you believe that they should be able to have sex or they should not have sex. You can't be on both sides of the fence because you're the adults. They're looking at what you're telling them. So when teenagers look at surveys where they ask adults about should teenagers have sex and it's 50-50 or it's to the favor of them having sex, oh, well, of course, they'll feel more confident and comfortable about having sex, right? And really, to be honest with you, go out here and protest. Say we have the right to have sex. We're of age. We're sexually mature to have sex. Next thing you know, there would be no charges against a 29, 30, 34-year-old who has sex with a 16-year-old because she was sexually mature. She could have sex. The law says she's sexually mature to have sex.